Women have a monopoly on childbirth, and all monopolies have a tendency towards corruption. In society today, men have no reproductive rights. They have no choice in whether and when they become fathers. When a man sticks his penis in a woman, he's putting his life in her hands, because he has no control over his capacity to enable a woman to become pregnant. Of course, a man can use condoms, but condoms are not a fertility control device. When they work, they're only a barrier device. This is a crucial difference. Why is it that society refuses to acknowledge that unless a man explicitly agrees to be a father, before conception, he's been hijacked?
A short-term relationship for a man is sort of an end in itself, as it were.
Now you men out there, of all the times you've had sex, and with all the girls, how many of those times were you trying for a baby? And looking back at some of the women, could you even imagine having children with some of them? The girl with the great tits, but a face for radio. The girl who thought Japan was the capital of China.
Where does roast beef come from? Arby's?
The one who turned out to have a hardcore personality disorder. The one you simply didn't want to be with for more than one night. You know the ones I mean. You'd rather chew off your own arm than have her be the mother of your children. Yet many men get caught in just this situation. The woman decides his fate. The woman decides if he'll be a father or not. Men also have no choice in respect of abortions. If a woman decides that an abortion is best for her, she has an abortion.
It was strange because she asked me, "Are you okay with this? You're fine with having an abortion?" And I said, "Well, why not? Why don't we have it? You know, we're in a stable relationship. I wouldn't mind. I'd quite like to have a child now." And the panic that spread across her face made me realise that she had no intention of asking my opinion at all. All she wanted was for her choice to be backed up by me, so that she could say, yeah, we could, you know, she could have somebody that who could share the guilt, if you want, if you like. A man's opinion, hopes and dreams are all irrelevant, and this in a male-dominated society. The simplest description of this situation is slavery. It's slavery because it's no accident that men don't have control of their fertility, as women have had since 1960. Imagine a young man forced into fatherhood by some woman he had sex with in the back of a car. He may not have finished studying or decided on a career, and yet she decides that he'll be a father. He's not ready, he doesn't want it, he can't afford it, he's not capable of fatherhood, but she makes it happen anyway. She's decided to enslave him and has taken away all his choices, while she enforces hers. Can we honestly be surprised if he wants nothing to do with her? This is the main reason the Child Support Agency was brought into being, to manage and even encourage the disastrous choices that women are making. Now women can rest assured that when their entirely selfish attitude has landed them with a child they can't afford, the state will be there to extract money from whichever man she's chosen to enslave.
My sister had a baby, and I wanted a baby of my own. He didn't know that I was planning to have a baby with him. I told him I was on a pill, so he didn't know nothing about it.
Courtney's plan worked, and soon she was expecting.
Wives do this as a matter of course when they want to have another child, but the husband doesn't. They quietly take themselves off the pill and don't tell him. When a pregnancy happens, they know he won't leave, and so the deal is done. And men are expected to just accept the duplicity of their women and do the right thing. If they don't accept her manipulation and they leave, they're deadbeat dads. But men are not irresponsible, and they're not to blame if they abandon a toxic woman who's decided to have a child without their consent.
You're the one who walked out on Joey.
I never walked out on him. I walked out on you.
We've never been together since she was 2 weeks old, when we split up.
When Lena was born, I already predicted that she'd be left on her own with that baby. Because it does happen. A lot.
But the truth is that these selfish women break up families. Trust has been broken. Enslavement has occurred. There's almost never a happy ending to such treatment of men by women. I'd be hugely interested in statistics to show just how many families are together with kids when both parents wanted a child from before conception. I'd expect the percentage to be very high indeed. I would also love to know how many children that are born were planned by the father and how many were forced on him. We can't get this information because no man wants to say this out loud, especially with existing children, and no man wants to admit what sort of creature his wife is. Men want to choose when they make their huge and valuable investment in their children's lives. It's precisely because fatherhood is such a huge investment emotionally and financially that he'll walk away rather than invest in the wrong woman and child. Men do not want to be enslaved parents, and they will resist this enslavement. So why are women's options for controlling fertility so much more numerous and effective than men's? Why is there no male pill? It's been 50 years since men gave women their pill. Why are men still waiting for theirs? The reason is not medical complexity. The reason is political and financial. Why is there no male pill?
Very, very good question. Well, the standard line is that no woman would trust a man to take it. This, I mean, my answer to that is 3 letters. CSA. You know, I am a single male. You know, I'm sex, probably not as much as some males, but my constant fear is that whoever I'm having sex with can, behind my back, conceive. I don't know why on earth they would, but can conceive the child and then put me in a position where I've got to financially support it. Even for married men, I mean, the problem a lot of married men have is that women deliberately botch the conception without telling them. So they've made an agreement they're going to have children, and then the husband finds behind his back his wife's conceived anyway. Now, obviously, you can get around that by, so you're not going behind her. You're taking your pill at the same time she's taking hers by mutual agreement. Yeah, you're taking your, so you obviate that situation. Obviously, you then got the situation where you could turn the tables and you could take the pill in secret because you don't agree with the idea of having a child. So you got control of your fertility in any situation. I can't imagine why any man wouldn't want to do that. I mean, the problem in the past, the pills that they were trying to develop had side effects in terms of libido, obviously, which destroys the whole point of it. But they've got round that now, and the question about why there wasn't a male pill before a female pill is a pertinent one, because male reproductive physiology is a lot more simple than female. So technologically, it should be easier to devise a male pill, and that is evidenced by the fact that there is a whole range of pills which are being developed at the moment for males.
So do you think that there was, let's be honest or frank about it, that there was a deliberate policy not to develop a male pill? That's right. There was this has been openly discussed in academia, saying that it was a matter of policy not to develop a. I actually met Carl Gerassi, who's the inventor of the female contraceptive pill, at the ICA convention Sex Wars. We've skirted around these issues, but I got the impression this was very much the case, that just wasn't just wasn't in anybody's imagination that why you would bother with a male pill. It's partly the sort of blunt, stupid assumption that all men need to show their macho-ness by conceiving, however grubbily, which I don't know of men who think in those terms. It's yes. But you see, the sex you have is divorced from the reproduction. You don't need to have the reproduction to feel mecca about having the sex, do you? So it's not a conspiracy, sort of, in any way to against men. It's purely we weren't considered in that way.
Well, there does seem to be a bit of a feminist conspiracy, yes. But the deep background of that is that it just didn't occur to people that men would want one.
I just find it obvious.
It is obvious now, I think, in the light of the CSA. But you see, even then, if you go back a generation or two, most weddings were shotgun weddings. The majority were. So you would have thought even more than now, really, that men at that time would have wanted a pill to avoid those.
Well, one of the things that I look at and other people is that the whole male psychology wasn't there. The awareness of yourself and your needs and what would be good for you just wasn't there, and it's developing now, but it didn't exist much.
That's right. I mean, it was a very unidimensional view of what male life was about, wasn't it? It was basically it was considered inevitable. Your one lifestyle choice was to find a woman, marry her, and have kids.
Having one sex in control of reproduction, when it's technologically possible for both sexes to control it, is massive discrimination. Could you imagine what women would say if it was men that had entire control of fertility? The principal argument against any real push to develop a male pill is that women have their pill, and that's enough, and constitutes effective birth control. But it obviously isn't enough, and the legions of single mothers shows this quite clearly. A woman says that she's on the pill. Can you trust that?
Do you know what? That is such a... It happened to me last night. Yeah. This isn't going to go any further, is it?
No, it's just us.
Maybe Channel 4.
I was getting busy with a very gorgeous Slovakian girl, and I was getting ready to put, the rubber on, and she says, I'm on the pill. I was like, yeah, you probably are, but, And she's like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, because you can't trust a woman who says she's on the pill.
Why not?
I'm not saying that those judgments I made is going to make my decision. It's helping me make a decision whether she is or she isn't.
Being on the pill?
Women lie. Women do lie. I've figured that out.
I've heard that.
They do.
You can't just say women lie and leave it at that. What lies have you been told that make you think, well, you can't trust women? Because you just said women. You're not saying
they're
that
capable of
the
lying.
old woman I've met in my life lies.
You remember that Chris Rock routine?
What?
They ain't that tall, they're high heels, your lips aren't that red, even your hair isn't like that. One walking lie.
Are you saying that women are walking lies? Is that what you're saying?
You said that, didn't you? You said that, didn't you?
I'm saying that deception is kind of part and parcel of being a woman.
I'm saying that women are capable of lying. That's what I'm saying.
Women have proven themselves to be absolutely useless at birth control. They don't take the pill properly. They don't understand how it works. They can't even remember to take a pill every day.
Providing she can remember what day it is, a woman can be quite sure whether or not she has taken today's pill.
But one of the main arguments raised is that men would be unreliable.
A study by Edinburgh University suggested women would trust a man if he said he was taking contraception, and 65% thought the responsibility for contraception falls too much on women.
Why should just one person be in charge of it? We share the cooking, we share the cleaning up, we can share the contraception.
Women go through a lot, don't they? They have everything, contraception, everything is women. So, for men for a change, that'd be a good idea.
I wouldn't trust a guy if he said that he was on it, to be honest.
Whenever I've seen programs talking about the research and how soon it will be, all they talk about is, can a man be trusted to take it? And you hear men saying, oh, I don't want to take that kind of thing because it might not work and it might stop me having children. The focus seems to be entirely missing the entire point.
I know. But that's the feminist dominated media for it.
If men were in full control of reproduction and handled it the way women do today, there'd be comprehensive legislation punishing men for their criminal irresponsibility. Forcing a woman to be a parent against her will would be a crime, probably classed as domestic violence, and men would undoubtedly face arrest and imprisonment for the offence. But when men are forced into fatherhood, society says and does nothing.
There is a very strong underlying idea that women should suffer more, and I use the word advisedly, in the service of preventing pregnancy than men.
Controlling fertility is not a burden. It's not suffering, and it's not by any measure a punishment. Rather, it's the key to absolute freedom and control of one's destiny. Freedom and control that only women have enjoyed for the last 50 years. The male pill would give men reproductive parity of women for the first time in history. It would be a sea change in humanity. Men will go nuts for a male pill. They'll treat it like holy water. They'll possibly pray to it every night. They'd no more forget to take it than they'd forget to breathe. It's the passport to a sex life without risk of unwanted fatherhood. It would be the holy grail for every man. So if a male pill was available, you would take it?
Absolutely.
Do you think that most men would take it?
I think so, because it's about freedom. It's the same reason that women take the pill. It frees you from the other party. You don't have to rely on a woman taking the pill. You don't have to, you are in control. If both you have the ability to take a pill, then I cannot see how unwanted pregnancies could possibly happen.
No man could be duped into fatherhood. No man could be controlled and used. No man could be enslaved. Every child that's born would be a wanted child by both parents, not just the mother. Boris Becker had sex with a random woman in a restaurant cupboard. Sometime later, he's reported to have received the following facts from the woman. Becker has since had to give her millions of pounds in child support. What kind of woman is this that would have a child in this way? More to the point, is she even that unusual? And what kind of legal system is it that supports and encourages women like this?
Now, we've already calculated that on your salary you can expect to pay about £320 a month. Oh, come on.
In no other area is a swindler rewarded with a monthly cash settlement. Journalist Amy Alkin terms this casual sex into cash flow sex, and millions of women are doing it. And you don't have to be Boris Becker to be vulnerable. If you earn $20,000, that can be enough for some of these women. A male pill would mean that men would have no more fear and worry about fatherhood when they're not ready for it. There'd be no more concern about wives deciding to have children without discussion with the husband. There'd be no more Boris Becker cupboard children and the like, born to women turning casual sex into cash flow sex. There'd be no more one-night stand children born to women who think they're doing the right thing by having a child by one of the 3 men she had sex with that week. The male pill would be a building block for strong families again in an age where women had destroyed the meaning of family and who now seek surrogate fathers and husbands through the state. The legal profession would take a huge blow as lucrative divorce and child custody work would disappear overnight. Men would be able to choose the wives and partners they want to be with instead of being chosen without their consent. Without a doubt, the male pill would be the greatest liberator of men and the most positive boost for families in the whole of history. And that's why it may never happen. The very last thing that government, businesses and women want, could ever want, is for men to control childbirth. It would mean disaster for government's control of men and disaster for business revenues, for the simple reason that broken families spend a lot more than those that are intact, and so are worth a lot more to a vast array of agencies. Direct beneficiaries of broken families are too numerous to ever fully catalogue, but they can collectively be described as the abuse industry. The birth rate would reduce hugely because most children today are born without the consent of the man. House prices would come down, taxes would lower, government power would reduce, crime would fall, and world peace may well break out. What do you think the impact of the male pill will be when that's functional and licensed and it's there? Have you thought about that? Yeah, have you thought about that and its impact?
I think every man thinks about that, don't they? The idea that they will have total control of their fertility and not have to risk having pregnancies with... Most men, if there is an effective means of contraception for most men, which doesn't involve putting something on top of their penis, they will jump at it. They will jump at it. This will free them in a way that they've never been free before. Never been free before. Absolutely. I can't wait for it myself, even though I'm 53. And I'm absolutely certain it'll be wonderful. Men will be in charge for the first time with regard to him, yes.
The key question is where the money's going to come from to develop a male pill.
It's been suggested pharmaceutical companies are reluctant to start making a male contraceptive because it simply wouldn't be a money spinner for them. If it does become available, the final challenge will be persuading men to actually use it.
The pharmaceutical companies would make money from it, but this doesn't compare with what they make from having more people in the world. The reduced birth rate that would result from men finally having some control over their destiny would be counterproductive for these companies. There may well come a time that government and business do allow a genuine and effective male pill to be produced, but this will not happen until society's attitudes and laws have changed sufficiently to allow the free use by women of donated or otherwise harvested sperm.
Oh, the National Sperm Bank have had another run on my seed. They want another deposit.
When women truly don't need men to have children, men will get a male pill. And it will be done like this in the name of women's rights to have children in any way they choose, and society's final acceptance that fathers really don't matter. Fathers are quite literally being phased out. We're halfway there already. Once we go the full way, this is not a society that any of us are going to want to live in.